I think we're in that bull market. The market has quadrupled since the low of the last market, right? We've quadrupled off of 15,000. And so, where can we go from the low to the new high? Well, I'd say we could probably go 20x, Going up 20x from the low in this market is conceivable, right? It's probably a reasonable thing. And we're up already 4x. So let's just say 5x left to go in this phase. That might be more. There's no solid rules.
Fred Krueger is a well-known crypto analyst, Bitcoin maximalist, and a strong advocate of the Bitcoin power law, a theory that mathematically describes Bitcoin's historical price trends and highlights a significant correlation between time and price. As a mathematician with a PhD in mathematics from Stanford University, Fred regards the Bitcoin power law model as the most accurate framework for analyzing Bitcoin's price history and adoption, as well as forecasting future price movements. He has an extremely bullish outlook for Bitcoin, predicting it will reach a staggering $250,000 to $350,000 or even $1 million in a bull case before the end of the bull market in 2025. Fred's conviction in Bitcoin and the ongoing bull market is so high that he has announced his willingness to part with $100,000 worth of Satoshis to anyone willing to bet that the leading cryptocurrency won't hit $70,000 before the U.S. presidential elections in November. His tweet reads, $70,000 before the election. It's happening. If you think not, send $100,000 in sats to @BeagleBitcoin, who will act as a custodian to the bet. I will do the same. Fred believes that Q4 2024 will be particularly exciting for Bitcoin. In another Twitter post, he shares a chart showing that September 2024 was the best September on record for Bitcoin and predicts that things will get even more heated after the November elections. His post reads, Bitcoin is having its best September ever. This was supposed to be a bad month. With MicroStrategy trading at 2 times Bitcoin, they will remain a massive buyer. ETFs will be buying like panicked rats in Q4 post-election and as we get advisor approval. Q4 is going to be one for the record books. In a recent discussion with the Relai Bitcoin podcast, Fred shared his bullish conviction on Bitcoin and the ongoing bull market and why he believes the Bitcoin power law model is a superior model. As we bring you clips from the discussion, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
I would start with this power law, okay, which is, the concept that everybody kind of got wrong, which is something that got popular in about 2019, 2020, which was the stock to flow model, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you really look at the stock to flow model, and I could go on for a long time but it's basically incorrect, okay? And there's a lot of problems with the math and the stock to flow model. However, there is a model which is actually pretty much bulletproof, which is this power law model. And the power law model says very simply, let's plot the price of Bitcoin in log terms, okay? And let's look at it also relative to the time since the Genesis block in the log terms. It's important to have both of those axes be in log terms. Now, if you do that, you notice that it's more or less oscillating around a straight line. And if you do a regression to that straight line, you find that the fit is the R squared is 97%. Okay. So that's the first clue that, okay, this is something really amazing. Because if you get a 97% R squared, this is not a coincidence. Now, the amazing thing is this happens over a period from when Bitcoin was at 10 cents to when Bitcoin was at $73,000, right? So you have 6 orders of magnitude of growth, right? From 10 cents to $73,000, almost $100,000, right? Mm. And yet the logarithms are follow this linear slope with 97% correlation. Okay. Now, if you told me that any relationship like that in finance has a 97% correlation over 6 orders of magnitude, I would say you found the holy grail, right?
Yeah.
The first reason why I have conviction is I believe in this power law. I do think that this is sort of statistically how Bitcoin price is evolving. And furthermore, we can even talk about why this is happening. And the why of this is that Bitcoin adoption is also growing like a power law, right? It's growing like a power law. And so the important thing about a power law is the power, right? So at what power is this growing? And roughly it's growing at t to the power 6. Okay. So as time goes by, it's not going at the square of time. It's not growing at the cube of time. It's growing to the 6th power of time, right? That's roughly how fast Bitcoin is growing. So you have this crazy, almost exponential growth, right? Not quite exponential, but it's almost exponential. A good way to think of it right now is Bitcoin's growing at about 40% per year. Mm-hmm. That's sort of the trend line Bitcoin. Now, around this, there's tremendous volatility, right? And if you look at it in sort of normal space, it almost makes no sense. It's sort of like, okay, it went up a lot in 2017. It crashed. It went up a lot in 2020. It crashed. Okay. Now it's back. Okay. What do you make of this? It just seems like a, complete, just sort of random event, right? Mm. But if you look at it in log terms, you see, no, there's a very clear pattern, right? A very clear pattern. And furthermore, you can even estimate the volatility around this pattern, right? So basically, the volatility is around 0.3 in logarithmic terms. What that means is that you can go up by 10 to the power 0.3, which is a double, or you can go down by 10 to the power negative 0.3, which brings you down to about half.
According to Fred, Bitcoin is currently at fair value, with an equal chance of reaching $125,000 within the next year versus returning to $30,000 based on the power law model. But that's without considering trendline growth. With that, Fred sees Bitcoin's price being anywhere between $50,000 and $200,000, with $100,000 being the mean by the end of the year. He shares a similar end-of-year prediction in another post on social media platform X, which reads, Q4 is going to be epic. Number 1, election over. Number 2, Trump possibly in charge, but regardless, see number 1. Number 3, second 50 basis points, rate cut coming November 8th. Number 4, China's monetary easing in effect. Number 5, FTX spigots open. Number 6, advisors and wirehouses much more onboard ETFs. Number 7, more MicroStrategy converts and Bitcoin smash buys. Honestly, 100K end-of-year prediction might be low. In his interview, Fred observes that during previous bull markets, Bitcoin moved 20 to 30 times from its previous lows. He expects a similar performance in 2025. Here are more clips from the video.
So I would sort of say right now we are at fair value of Bitcoin, roughly. And I would say, we have an even chance of going to say 125,000 Bitcoin in a year versus going back down to 30,000. Now that would be without the trendline growth. So the trendline growth puts you at around 100,000 by the end of this year. So I would say if I had to put a confidence interval, I would say 50,000 to 200,000, with 100,000 being the mean, kind of for the end of the year. Now, that's kind of that really should give you a lot of confidence that we're in a pretty good spot to invest in Bitcoin. But on top of that, we now have this ETF, right? Mm. And the ETF is probably a reason why we're going to exceed this on the upside, right? So, we're in this ETF and we're in the 4th bull market of Bitcoin. The 4th bull market, I would say it's really driven by ETFs more than anything else, right? And I think, the promise of the ETF started kicking in when we were at Bitcoin 25,000 almost, And so I think we're in that bull market. The market has quadrupled since the low of the last market, right? We've quadrupled off of 15,000. And so, where can we go from the low to the new high? Well, I'd say we could probably go 20x, that's normally where you go. Like if you go back from in sort of in the last bull market, right? We bottomed out at Bitcoin 3,500, right? So we started 2019 at around 4,000, okay? And we ended up at, 69,000, right? Mm-hmm. So, from 3,000 to 69,000, let's just call it 20x, right? Mm-hmm. So, it seems like a lot, but actually that's what we did. So, right. But really it started earlier, right? So I think it really started more in like 2015 timeframe, right? So it was more like, if you remember, Bitcoin was around 500 then, right? Mm-hmm. So it really went from 500 to almost 20K, right? Mm. So let's just call it 30X. So I think a good way to think of these things, these bull markets, is historically they've lasted 3 or 4 years. Okay, the first one was, let's call it 3 years, from 2010 till end of 2013. 4 years, really, almost, right? Mm. It was just an enormous bull market, right? It was the biggest of all. But I think, going up 20x from the low in this market is conceivable, right? Mm-hmm. It's probably a reasonable thing. And we're up already 4x. So let's just say 5x left to go in this phase. That might be more. There's no solid rules. But, I think that, for us to go 250, 300K in this kind of bull market is entirely possible. And it may be bigger, right? It may just continue all the way up to 1 million. Who knows, right? Mm-hmm. I do think we're in this bull market. The big picture is we're in a bull market. Mm-hmm. We're in a bull market. We have this catalyst, which is this ETF, which is so much bigger than the Ethereum catalyst of 2017, so much bigger than this DeFi catalyst of 2020. This is the real deal.
Fred Krueger is a proud Bitcoin maximalist, a fact he often flaunts in his interviews and social media posts. He has been criticizing altcoins like Cardano and meme coins more frequently in recent weeks, and put out a long post highlighting 10 reasons why everyone should be Bitcoin maxes. His post reads, "The 10 reasons why you should be Bitcoin only. Number 1. Over 4 years or more, all altcoins go to zero versus Bitcoin. Ethereum sounded cool in 2017. It's much lower versus Bitcoin today. So did Litecoin, EOS, and every other coin launched before 2020. Number 2. Surviving bear markets require conviction. If the market turns negative, you will sell your altcoin, and this can happen anytime. Develop diamond hands with Bitcoin. You will need them. Number 3. Altcoins become obsolete with time. Remember AOL? MySpace? You don't want to fight technological progress. With Bitcoin, you don't have to. It was perfect money when it came out, and it's perfect today. Number 4. Studying altcoins is a full-time job. There are hundreds of new altcoins being minted every day. You don't have time to study all of them, and you don't need to. Save yourself the effort and stick to Bitcoin only. Number 5. Most altcoins are outright scams. Remember SafeMoon Coin, BitConnect, Celsius token? Number 6. The SEC could declare your altcoin a security. This could cause it to trade lower or stop trading altogether. Do you want to take that risk? Number 7. Altcoins are often Ponzi's. They sound great initially, but they require new participants in order to function. Once the new blood dries up, the Ponzi collapses. Number 8. Altcoins are generally deliberately overcomplicated. There are tokens for the team, complex staking schemes, airdrops, and rewards for doing XYZ. Simplify your life with Bitcoin. Number 9. 99% of altcoins have no cap. The number of tokens can go up forever, unlike Bitcoin. Stop the inflationary madness. Number 10. Altcoins are embarrassing. You are a grown man or woman. Do you really have nothing better to do with your life than promote smoking chicken coin? Are you a Bitcoin maxi or a champion of all meaningful cryptocurrency investments? What do you think about Fred Krueger's arguments against altcoins and his super bullish 20 to 30x prediction for Bitcoin? Please share your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.